Imagine a group that appears to be all about love, peace, and spiritual enlightenment on the surface, but behind the facade lies a sinister secret, far more terrifying than you could ever imagine. As we journey through this story, the depths of depravity we'll uncover will leave you questioning the very nature of humanity. Hold on to your seats, and let's dive into the dark world of the children of God. Welcome back, dear viewers, to our channel. Today, we have a spine-chilling story that will send shivers down your spine and reveal the horrifying reality of the dark side of human nature. We're about to delve deep into the twisted, shocking history of a notorious sex cult, the Children of God. But first, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our thrilling content. Are you ready to uncover the hidden secrets behind this infamous cult? Let's get started. The Children of God, later known as the Family International, had its roots in the late 1960s in Huntington Beach, California. Its founder, David Berg, a disillusioned former preacher, started the movement with a vision of creating an alternative to mainstream Christianity. He sought to form a utopian society, one that embraced communal living, love, and peace. But the question remains, how did a group with such seemingly innocent beginnings transform into something so horrifying? As the movement gained momentum, David Berg, who called himself Moses David, began attracting a following of young, idealistic individuals searching for spiritual fulfillment. He preached about rejecting materialism and living a life dedicated to God's mission. However, as the cult grew, so did Berg's power and control over his followers. And this is where things took a dark and twisted turn. As Berg's influence expanded, he began introducing more extreme and unconventional teachings, exploiting the devotion of his followers. He claimed that God's love could be expressed through sexuality, even when it involved children. This vile belief system would later become one of the most sinister aspects of the Children of God. But could anyone have foreseen the extent of the horrors that were yet to come? Stay with us as we unravel the shocking truth behind the transformation of the Children of God and expose the heinous practices that were hidden beneath the veneer of love and spirituality. Now, as we venture into the dark side of the Children of God, it's crucial to understand just how insidious and manipulative David Berg's teachings became. So, what exactly were these twisted beliefs, and how did they impact the lives of those trapped within the cult? Berg's teachings evolved to promote a perverted form of sexuality. Under the guise of expressing God's love, he encouraged adult-child sexual relationships within the community. It's truly sickening to think that something so abhorrent was justified in the name of love. And that's not all. Berg also introduced a bizarre concept called the law of love. He claimed that any act committed out of love, no matter how unconventional or immoral, was justified in the eyes of God. This dangerous belief system gave way to a culture of abuse and exploitation within the cult. As the cult expanded, Berg's control over his followers intensified. He created a climate of fear and paranoia, manipulating his followers into believing that the outside world was evil and that they were the chosen ones, destined to save humanity. This further isolated the members, leaving them vulnerable to the horrors unfolding within the cult. But how did the Children of God manage to keep these dark secrets hidden from the public eye for so long? And what were the consequences for the cult's innocent victims? Keep watching as we delve deeper into the nightmarish world of the Children of God and reveal the shocking truth about their devastating legacy. The controversial practices. As we continue to explore the dark underbelly of the Children of God, it's crucial to examine the controversial practices that were not only endorsed but also encouraged by David Berg. One of the most notorious practices within the Children of God was flirty fishing. This tactic involved female members, whom Berg referred to as God's whores or hookers for Jesus, using their sexuality to recruit new male members. Berg justified this practice by claiming that they were saving souls through their bodies, all in the name of God's love. But the horrors don't stop there. Inside the cult, Berg enforced a system of sharing, which essentially meant that all adult members were expected to engage in sexual relationships with one another, regardless of marital status. This lack of boundaries and consent led to a culture of sexual coercion and abuse, leaving many members deeply traumatized. And perhaps the most disturbing practice of all, the systemic sexual abuse of children. David Berg's twisted teachings encouraged and justified pedophilia as a way of expressing God's love. Survivors of the cult have shared harrowing accounts of their experiences, shedding light on the true extent of the abuse that occurred within the children of God. The survival and decline. Knowing the shocking practices of the children of God, you might be wondering how such a depraved cult managed to survive for decades. And what was the turning point that led to their decline? Let's dive into the story of their resilience, exposure, and eventual downfall. Despite facing numerous allegations and investigations, the children of God managed to evade justice by maintaining a nomadic lifestyle, frequently relocating their communities and operating under the radar. This constant movement made it incredibly difficult for authorities to track them down. But the real question is, how did they manage to keep their members loyal amidst such atrocities? The answer lies in the masterful manipulation and brainwashing techniques employed by David Berg. He isolated his followers from the outside world, convincing them that they were the chosen ones in a battle against evil. However, the resilience of the children of God couldn't last forever. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, more and more ex-members began speaking out, bravely sharing their harrowing experiences with the world. And then, in 2005, a tragic event shook the world. The suicide of a high-profile former member who left behind a chilling video detailing the abuse he suffered within the cult. This heart-wrenching revelation brought the children of God into the international spotlight, and their dark secrets could no longer be hidden. But what happened to the survivors of this notorious cult? And how has the legacy of the children of God impacted their lives in the years since? Keep watching as we delve into the aftermath of this twisted saga and the ongoing battle for healing and justice. The aftermath. In the wake of the increased scrutiny and public outrage, the children of God rebranded themselves as the Family International in the early 2000s. They claimed to have renounced their past abuses and implemented reforms to prevent further exploitation. But can an organization with such a dark history truly change? Many ex-members have bravely stepped forward to share their stories, shedding light on the atrocities committed within the cult. Some survivors have also taken legal action against the cult and its leaders, seeking justice for the crimes committed against them. While progress has been made, the fight for justice is far from over. Many survivors continue to push for further investigation and accountability, refusing to let their voices be silenced. And what about the next generation? The children born into the cult, who knew no other way of life, now face the daunting task of navigating the world outside the confines of the children of God. We must remember the courage and resilience of the survivors, who have fought to reclaim their lives and hold the cult accountable for its heinous actions. If you have any thoughts or feelings about the children of God, please share them in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content like this. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey, and as always, stay safe, stay curious, and we'll see you in our next video.